All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Welcome to Darren and Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City, 94.5 FM, 1510 AM. I am Darren Smith with you live in studio, joined by the number 15th rank, Mr. Sterling Holmes, or the 16th?
It's 16.
Oh,
come
see,
on. We got to earn that 15.
Yeah, you do. But shout out to MU. We'll talk about them a little bit later on in the day. But Sterling Holmes joined us in the booth today. Sterling, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. It's a good Monday. A little cold.
It is cold. It was, look, I decided to drive the escalator today and come, my door wouldn't open, didn't realize it was frozen outside, frozen shut. And I guess it was, just a tad bit under 32 degrees when I left the house this afternoon. But
I got Jeep Wrangler, and I have the back where it's not completely sealed because it's a soft top. I had a little snowflakes in my car this morning, and it's a little chilly.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in on the radio. Of course, if you're watching us online as well, it is Victory Monday once again, which you know what that means. It's another Chiefs victory. Todd Leibel's got the week off today, so we'll move on ahead. We'll have to press on without him. But Sterling, your Kansas City Chiefs, once again, too close for comfort in my book because that's a road now that they have not covered the spread. 33-27 victors over the Miami Dolphins to clinch their fifth time in a row, I believe, the AFC West Division crown. Your thoughts on yesterday's game as Patrick Mahomes threw for 394 yards but had 2 touchdowns to go along with 3 interceptions that made the game a lot more interesting than they had any right to be.
Yeah, it was about 2 of the worst quarters we've seen all season. In the first and the fourth quarter were brutal, and then the second and third quarter was what we had come to expect from Kansas City. It's tough when you know that every single team week in and week out is going to give you their best. For Miami, they want to win this game not only for the record-wise, but because for them this would be their statement win of the season. If you beat the Chiefs, that's a statement victory. When the Raiders won, that was their Super Bowl. We know this.
Yeah, look how they played since.
So Chiefs are getting everyone's best shot. Mahomes had some uncharacteristically bad throws. He had some, honestly, the one where the guy fell down and he still tried to fit it into Travis Kelce. That was just a bad mental mistake that you rarely see from him. But guess what? Teams around the NFL, quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, the best of the best, do this. Mahomes rarely does this. And he still threw for 390 yards, and he came back and hit Tyreek Hill deep. And Travis Kelce, again, we'll get to him later for Offensive Player of the Year. But Mahomes is that rare guy where you think he's going to have a bad game, and all of a sudden he'll turn it on enough to where you go, that wasn't that bad of a game.
My biggest takeaway, and I do want to address something someone, watching us on Facebook and YouTube and Periscope, somebody asked, why didn't we ask about Bills playing anymore yesterday? Trust me, that was on my 2 questions to ask Andy Reid today, but because of how the press conference went, I can only ask 1 question. So that question is actually going to be geared towards more so Eric Bieniemy on Thursday, if not Andy Reid, unless I get another question in the Andy on Thursday, because I was interested, obviously, when you see someone that had 2 rushing attempts, I think two catches, Le'Veon Bell, again,
effective too.
For me, and I'll just jump right in this to address the gentleman's question, or to address the person's question. Why is he on the team if you're not going to utilize him in the manner? Because the first interception that Patrick threw was the one to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm like, Patrick, you're throwing a 9-foot pass in the air to a running back that's 5'6", and I know it looked like he almost touched it, but there was no way he was going to catch that pass. I think if you have Le'Veon in, it's just me. I just think things happen a little bit differently. And not to say that he hasn't played well, but someone, I was.
It was a bad throw, though. I don't care who you are.
Well,
unless you're Wilt Chamberlain, that's a bad throw. Or
Travis Kelce. Yeah, I mean.
But still, you got to know your personnel.
Exactly. But again, as I said, sometimes you get too cute. Patrick got a little too cute yesterday, and I said this on Steve and I's pregame show where, Miami's defense is not to be underrated. Patrick can't have those type of mistakes. He ended up having those mistakes. Now, it didn't cost us in the very end, but 3 interceptions is not something that – and look, I'm not saying that it's something that we're going to see week in, week out. I don't believe it is. But knowing that we are going to be facing teams as we get closer to the playoffs, and look, this Sunday coming up against New Orleans Saints, that's a Super Bowl – that's you and Steve's Super Bowl matchup. I mean, so I got a chance to ask Andy Reid a question earlier today. doing this presser. Want to play that right quick? Then I'll come back to you. Coach, good afternoon. Look, I will understand if it sounds like nitpicking, and I'm guilty of it, but with the expectations that you have as a head coach and the team has within itself, you said you look back at the tape. Do you feel like going further, you all need to play with more of a sense of urgency? I understand you're 12-1, but of course, as you get closer and closer to the playoffs, falling behind and then trying to play catch up and getting ahead and staying ahead of a team, may be more difficult this year compared to last year.
Yeah. So, things are tougher as you keep moving up. Although that was a good football team we played, so I don't want to slight them at all. What I'm saying, but as you go down the stretch here, everybody's trying to get to the same place, and you've got to, you have to do well, and you want to try to eliminate the mistakes the best you can. There were so many positive things in this game, and we were so close in some areas that we've been working on, and so we're right there. We just got to keep pounding and pushing, and then good things happen. There are ways of doing this where you see coaches and players, they beat themselves up over every little thing to perfection. Well, yeah, we're all striving for that. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. But at the same time, you're playing good competition. This is the NFL, so it's no joke that way. You're playing against good people, and keep working on those things that we need to work on. We're going to get there. We're going to keep pounding that. But at the same time, you have to enjoy that win, and then you move on. You don't have a lot of time to do it. It's you get a plane ride and you're back into it. So you better enjoy it the best you can, and then let's go.
And putting that in context, he had mentioned earlier to an earlier question that when they were on the plane ride, but coming back, he was watching the footage again of the game. So that's why I tossed that in there about him watching what he saw, whether or not they would be more aggressive or play more with a sense of urgency. And like I said, look, I don't want people to think I'm overreacting, but what's going to happen is if they were to lose in the playoff, then people are going to start overreacting about the changes and stuff that they saw throughout the season. Always. or towards the playoffs that they didn't address or that they didn't fix. And if it costs a team a loss in the playoffs, then everybody's going to be jumping on the same bandwagon that I'm on now. Look, the Chiefs, to their credit, to their ever-dying credit, they have, as we like to say, the deodorant that covers all the stink up, and that is Patrick Mahomes. The fact that he can go out there and cause turnovers himself. When I saw the game, it kind of gave me reminiscent of the Los Angeles Rams game in 2018. He tied his career high with interceptions in that game that he had. He had 5 turnovers that game, 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles, and they still scored 51 points and almost won the game at the very end. And 2 of those interceptions came on the last drive, on the last 2 drives for the Chiefs in that game. So I know that even though he threw for 393 yards, that still led the league yesterday in passing. Yep. That the Chiefs, to me, they just cannot turn it off and turn it on just because we're down 10. Now let's get things running.
The one thing I will say was it wasn't for a lack of Andy Reid getting too conservative this game.
Correct.
In the past, you've said that, but one of the reasons why Miami came back, they were up. Chiefs were up, I think, 21 at this point, or
I think it was
14,
it was something
whatever
like
it was. And Mahomes threw a deep ball to the end zone that got intercepted. It was an amazing play by the cornerback. One-handed it. It was a great play. Great. Give the cornerback credit there.
Shout out.
And guess what? That was Andy Reid getting aggressive, and I like that. I'm fine with that play call. At the end of the day, I think what Andy Reid was trying to say in his response to you was, Darren, we're still 12-1.
No, but I said that. I know you're 12-1, and I said it might sound like I'm nitpicking because I probably am.
And that's fine. I think to me, what you look at are trends. The Chiefs are still winning. You'll have games where you're not expecting Mahomes to throw and make bad passes, bad decisions multiple times in a game. This would not be a trend. A trend for me would say, okay, the secondary didn't look extremely good against, honestly, Miami has very poor weapons. Outside of Devontae Parker, who they did do a good job on, Mike
Gesicki.
He went off. And to me, I think a trend you need to look at is Dan Sorensen. I know he's a very tough topic in Chiefs Kingdom because he has made some clutch plays. He has been here, and he's a hard worker, and he plays about 100% of the snaps. But he is a liability at times in one-on-one coverage. He's not a man coverage type of guy, and he's put in man coverage too often. We saw Gesicki get the best of him. He missed a tackle on the backup tight end Sheehan. He also had a terrible PI in the back of the end zone that gave Miami the ball on the 1-yard line.
I want to make sure that I address this because we've gotten, and I know I have, gotten on the defense the last 3-4 weeks, deservedly so. Even Tyrann Mathieu, I've gotten on him. This yesterday was more of a defensive game for the Chiefs where they stepped up. Yeah. They did what they needed to do. Patrick kind of put them in a position and put them in spots where you got to go back out there on the field. Miami during the day is different than Miami at night. Trust me, I know. So we finally got a chance. And look, he made a cameo appearance. Frank Clark yesterday got a sack. Chris Jones as well. They both made cameo appearances in yesterday's game. Obviously, once again, third game in a row. Tyrann Mathieu, made his appearance. And
4 interceptions in 3 games. Although I will say Rashad Fenton was the real guy who made the play. The fact that he went one-on-one deep with the receiver, got his hand without having pass interference, and was able to knock the ball up to Tyrann Mathieu was an unbelievable play. And for Frank Clark, the play that stood out was not the sack.
I know.
It was the one where he had the spin move. We finally saw a spin move from Frank Clark, and he went to Tua, forced the incompletion, and still held up to not draw a roughing the passer. And I go, this may have been the best play we've seen from Frank Clark this year.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that's going to justify his game check, but that was a good play. Do want to give special recognition to Mike Dana as well as Treshaun Wharton. They both got sacks. Yeah. They both played well. We didn't hear the names called much. And Willie Gay. Willie Gay got a chance to play an extended period. He started yesterday.
17 snaps, but he's so impactful, and that's such a small sample size.
Which makes you wonder, Steve, what are you doing?
Free Willie Gay. Part of it has to come down to when I hear when Anthony Hitchens comes out, I think it's Dorian O'Daniel becomes the play caller, or maybe it's Ben Neiman. I forget. I'm drawing a blank right now, but one of those guys becomes the head play caller, which is Willie Gay's spot, and so that's why it's tough for him to get on the field. But I'm with you. Every time you see him, you're like, dude, give him more playing time. And Norton somehow is out here doing great stuff. Mike Dana, we all thought, myself included, when I went to this season, I go, he's not making the roster. He's a practice squad guy. They drafted him too high, fifth round. I mean, he had predictions of not being drafted, and they got him in the 5th. Well, he has lived up to those expectations. He's been a very, very good value pick in the 5th round, and he's looked good. Him and TK on the opposite side of Frank Clark have really added some value.
That's giving credit to the Chiefs scouting department and how they drafted players. Again, they draft them high. Even when they draft them low 3rd, 5th, 7th round, they still get that playing time where you get the experience and you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. And which helps because if you by chance have to, say we can't bring somebody back next year, well, you got these players who are on the lower end salary that's got the game experience that can go in there and can get things done.
I would go as far to say as Brett Veach has almost done better in later rounds than earlier rounds, considering Rashad Fenton, 6th rounder. You're going Treshaun Wharton, Mike Dana. You know what his probably 2 of his worst picks have probably been outside of obviously Breeland Speaks. McCole Hardman, you can make the case for. And you can also make the case for Clyde Edwards-Helaire as being 2 of the worst, especially value picks. I would say those are the 2 worst value picks he's made so far. If you look at who was drafted after McCole, and I don't like doing this game. I hate doing the look back game, but just to play devil's advocate here, the look back game. We all know about DK Metcalf, Terry McLaughlin. There's a few guys. And then if you look back at Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's been fine, but you're looking around the NFL, J.K. Dobbins. You're looking at DeAndre Swift,
Justin Jefferson,
I
know he went much higher, of course. But.
Undrafted James Robinson.
The flip side of that is that if you knew that A, Damian Williams was going to opt out, and B, Le'Veon Bell would have been available, roster, then maybe you don't make that decision. Speaking of McCole Hardman, I got to give credit. He finally returned a punt return for a touchdown. I kept ragging on him like, bro, all these fair catches, like, I can do that. Yeah. But then when I finally saw him take off yesterday, but then as soon as he does something good, he does something bad. And I'm at to hear his mouth when we're at the barbershop because, like, dude, how you get the ball away, man?
He's a great guy, though. He's very nice
he's a
guy.
great guy.
McColl's
Don't get me wrong, but how you phone the ball, man?
And it was on a good play, too. He sprung free, and we're like, oh, he's close to a touchdown. And then just –
And again, 4 turnovers, again, it makes you wonder, okay, if they play a clean game, just,
50. It's a
what
50
do they
spot.
– well, not even that. Just, Patrick, kind of maybe sews up the MVP. I know he and Aaron Rodgers are going back and forth about that. Before we get out of this game, of course, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, can't say enough about them. Kelce, 8 catches, 136 yards, touchdown. Tyreek Hill, basically 4 touches, 2 touchdowns out of those touches, 1 in the air, 1 on the ground. I mean, really, what can you say? I mean, Travis is number 1 in the NFL in receiving yards. Tyreek is number 3. It looks as though, based on, and again, I think it's going to come down to the last week and depend on the time of the game. We'll see what Tyreek and Travis end up these last 3 weeks in receiving yards, if they're 1-2, and if Travis can become the first NFL tight end to lead the league in receiving yards. Again, that's going to be based off of what DK Metcalf does and what Russell Wilson does and whether or not they try to overtake him. But Travis also has an opportunity in a few other areas. When I looked at some of the post-game notes, both he and Tyreek Hill, Tyreek Hill is going to break a record. He's going to break Dwayne Bowe's record. He has 3 games to at least get 2 touchdowns to break Dwayne Bowe's club record of most touchdowns in the season.
Let's hope. I mean, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, 2 still.
Well, no, just one to tie is 15.
Okay.
He has 14. The Chiefs record is 15 by Dwayne Bowe.
The most impressive play, though, of the game for me was probably Tyreek Hill's touchdown run. Yeah. I don't think anyone else, maybe in NFL history, makes that into a touchdown.
Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders is about the only other guy I was just about to say. But outside of Barry, I mean, think of not only the speed, but the acceleration. The thing that's so impressive is how quickly he gets to top speed, and then the balance and agility to stay in bound, tiptoe down the line, still throw up the peace sign. It just – he blows my mind how good Tyreek Hill has been, not just being a speed guy.
I will tell you this. There is one play. There's only one other wide receiver, I would say, not that would make that run play, but that can go to 0 to 60.
Are we going to say at the same time?
Randy Moss.
Yeah, Randy Moss.
And I said it because if you remember his rookie season, 1 of the 3 touchdowns that he caught against the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving. I think it was the third one where he caught the ball inbounds and the defender was trying to get him or get to him. Randy just juked him one time and just went 0 to 60 up the sidelines. And then there was a time where he returned it. This is the only punt return he's ever done in the NFL. It came against Kansas City Chiefs, I believe, on Monday Night Football. And he caught I don't even know what made him put him back there in the back, but he caught it and just, I mean, he split them. I mean, he went 0 to 60. Like, you're like, damn, that's what that 4.2 speed looked like. So,
but that's kind of the point is it's not even generational. It's on one hand, guys that make that play, and Tyreek Hill is one of them, which just shows how good he really is.
Before we go to break, Sterling, I want to address this right quick because someone asked a question. Based off the playoff picture right now, and of course, we know what happened with Pittsburgh. We'll talk a little bit more about that on the other side of break. And actually, I'm going to toss this question to you, and then we'll take a break and come back. But based on the playoff situation right now, who's the scariest team for the Chiefs to play on the AFC side of the playoffs? So you think about that. When we come back from break, we'll talk more about it, and then we'll look at some of the other Sunday night games or Sunday games in general right here on Darren and Sterling on ESPN.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. Cut daily and grilled over any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
Whether you're a seasoned pitmaster or backyard griller, how would you like to up your game day tailgate to the MVP level? Huge Mike's, a Kansas City original, will show you how to go huge this season with an award-winning lineup of barbecue seasonings and sauces. Kick off with Roll Over and Rub It, an all-everything seasoning. Sweet, savory, and low in sodium, it's great on anything from popcorn to pork and everything in between. Check out HugeMikes.com today. Go huge with Huge Mikes.
Your hometown radio station, Sports Radio 810 WHB, presents a special college football championship weekend. Friday night, we'll bring you live coverage of the Pac-12 championship. Then Saturday, the action kicks off at 11 a.m. with Iowa State and Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship. At 3, tune in to hear Notre Dame and Clemson in the ACC championship on ESPN Kansas City. And at 7, it's Alabama and Florida in the SEC championship game on Sports Radio 810. It's all on Sports Radio 810 and ESPN Kansas City.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process will aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
Space Camper Cosmic IPA is a juicy hop blast of flavor. Citrusy and balanced, this is an IPA with a mission to save the Earth because it's the only planet with beer. You might not know it, but Boulevard Brewing Company has been passionate about taking care of our planet for decades. Between their zero-waste brewery to Ripple Glass, Boulevard has been making great feel great about. Stock up on Space Camper Cosmic IPA today. Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
You can keep your grass green and lush all year long with a new sprinkler system from Summit Lawn and Landscape. Call Summit Lawn and Landscape today at 816-966-9434 to design a water-efficient system for your home and never drag a hose again. 816-966-9434. Summit Lawn and Landscape provides complete lawn maintenance, including mowing, fertilization, and landscape installation, maintenance, and design. Call 816-966-9434 or go to summitlawn.com.
Ladies, leave your man at home. The club is full of ballers and their pockets full grown. And all you fellas, leave your girl with her friends. Cause it's 11:30 and the club is jumping.
Welcome back to Darren Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City, 94.5 FM, 1510 AM. Tracy's Kitchen Soul Food and Catering has partnered with Show Me Fish and Chicken to bring Raytown and the surrounding areas a new taste and flavor of soul food for your weekend craving. Will and Tracy also have your game day treats for your Sunday dinner eats. Come and get that Southern style comfort food that's cooked from the heart and prepared from the soul with some old and new school takes on a good old fashioned homemade comfort food that will have you coming back for more. Come down to 5220 Blue Ridge Boulevard for Soul Food Weekends, Saturdays 2 to 6, Sundays 12 to 5, 816-447-1098, and they are also available on DoorDash as well. So now you have no excuses. And according to them on Wednesday, they have Berea tacos on Wednesdays now. So, so be it. I ain't a taco guy, but,
I love tacos.
I know you do. That's why I mentioned it to you.
Thank you.
But before we went to break, Chase Owen had asked the question based off the playoff picture right now. Who's the scariest team for the Chiefs to play on the AFC side of the playoffs? I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I've been saying this for 5 weeks now. Even before the Steelers lost not one, but 2 games.
I said it for a few weeks.
I've said the Bills.
You have.
And it comes down to, I think, Josh Allen is a wild card. He's one of those guys where not only is he tough to get to, he's tough to bring down. He probably has the second strongest arm in the NFL, but, Patrick Mahomes is number 1. Josh Allen's probably the second strongest. Doesn't mean it's the most accurate, but that means he can also hit on those deep balls that some guys can't even sniff getting the ball to. They have an extremely good defense, probably one of the top 3 cornerbacks in Tre'Davious White. The Bills are a complete team. They've improved year after year. Josh Allen made the even larger leap this season, and they showed. I mean, they proved it against the Steelers last night, a very good defensive team in the Steelers. And they put up 26 points. Yes, one was a defensive touchdown, but really the Steelers were bottled up the entire night. So it's tough to put another team above the Bills, in my opinion. What about you?
Well, after last night, this is what I was telling Steve yesterday on our pregame show and why yesterday was important for me that Buffalo won that game and assisted in Kansas City. One, these two teams faced each other last year. I think it was either Thursday, Sunday, Monday Night Football. They played in prime time. I remember watching the game. But the Steelers beat Buffalo in Pittsburgh with a quarterback named Duck. Now, they won 17-10. Buffalo, talking about making that next step this year. When they faced Kansas City, they lost, I believe it was 26-17 at home. Well, okay, if you're the Chiefs, you kind of put them to the side, but you still got them in the rearview mirror because you know that you couldn't have faced them. They've played well since that loss to Kansas City. And here's the other thing too. If you want to take that next step, you have to beat certain teams to, be credible in the end. The Steelers, due to their loss last week to the Washington football team, they were kind of on the ropes. If you're the Buffalo Bills, kind of like boxing, you see an opening, you got to go attack it. And here's the thing. This is what I told Steve. If you're Buffalo, you go and you got them at home, Sunday Night Football, for the world to see. You beat them, that's a statement win. That's one of those statement wins. Not a trap game, it's a statement win. Because now you got the Steelers losing 2 games in a row. Now you're messing with their mindset. Because you got Big Ben talking about, I got to play better. I got to play well for us to win.
Yeah.
If they lose one more game, now you jump from number 3 to number 2. So you don't face Kansas City until the AFC Championship game. I think you may face them if you're number 3 anyway, just how the season goes. But that is something that if you're Buffalo, if Pittsburgh loses one more game and you went out, now you jump them because of the head-to-head matchup, you're number 2. Now it's like, if you're Kansas City, you're sitting back that opening weekend, you're watching everybody play one another, and of course you get a chance to see all your potential opponents. And if it happens to be Buffalo in the championship game, knowing that you beat the Bears, they got to come to Kansas City now. Kansas City lost one game at home to the Las Vegas Raiders, but you know that now the weather's not going to be a factor because they're in Buffalo. So, so playing outside in the cold, yeah, we'll have some fans there, maybe about 17,000. Okay, cool, we get it. But this is a team that has shown that now they're playing much better than the team that you faced back in September or October. So now things might not. So this is the team that makes me the most nervous is Buffalo. However, as an honorary member, I would say the Cleveland Browns because of their run game and because they have 2 style of running backs that can get you. And if Baker Mayfield somehow continues to play like, then they got something to worry about.
Yeah, the Browns are one of those teams where they've had a good season. They've beat the teams they were supposed to. They beat whoever it was last week when I said this was a statement win for them and they got it done. I'm seeing some people say the Colts. The one thing I'll say about the Colts, let me give Philip Rivers credit first.
Yeah,
I looked it up today. He's 4th right now in EPA, expected points added. So Philip Rivers has actually been one of the big reasons why the Colts have went from a middling team, very average, to taking that next step this year. I'll give him credit. They don't scare me, though. They don't have the weapons that a lot of these top other AFC teams have. They don't really have, does T.Y. Hilton scare you?
No, but they're consistent. Like, it's hard to get after Philip Rivers because of their line, and that's something that we see the Chiefs have problems doing.
I agree, but to beat the Chiefs, you got to have playmakers.
But here's the thing.
You got to have playmakers to beat the Chiefs.
Also, to beat the Chiefs, you got to score 30 or more points. They can't score points. They can't put points up on you.
The Colts don't scare me because they don't have the playmakers. Their offensive line's great.
I ain't saying they scare me now.
Don't get me wrong. The offensive line's great. Quentin Nelson's one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL. But if you don't have the playmakers on the outside, and someone's going to say Pittman or someone's going to say T.Y. Hilton, those guys would be the 3rd wide receiver on the Chiefs. They'd be the 3rd wide receiver on the Steelers. They'd be the 3rd wide receiver on the Bills. You can go down the list.
But Sterling, here's my only comeback to that. Again, we see how Kansas City, because they don't keep their foot on the necks, they let teams in the ball game. This is the last 5 games for the Colts. They scored 44, 26, 26, 34, 34. Yeah. They can put up points.
Sure.
And if the Chiefs defense don't put enough pressure to get to Philip Rivers to force, because the one thing we know about Philip, he will throw interceptions. We saw that yesterday. He will throw the ball away. But it's up to Kansas City to put him in those positions to do it. He's just not going to gladly give it to you. I mean, that's what they did against the Chargers when we were in Mexico City last year. You forced, I think Phil had damn near, 4 interceptions? He had 4 turnovers in that game.
That's been the biggest difference for Phillip Rivers this season is having the Colts offensive line because when he's not under pressure, he's not going to make those willy-nilly throws unless he's under pressure. But the one thing I will say is we finally saw the pass rush from Kansas City step up. Yes, it was against a rookie quarterback. Yes, they had 3 rookie offensive linemen on the Miami Dolphins, but I don't want to take away the building block that was last night's or yesterday's pass rush improvement that we saw from not only Chris Jones and Frank Clark, but we saw Tershawn Wharton, like you said. We saw Michael Downa. We saw the whole entire defensive line finally come together.
Now, I will say, shout out to our people who watch us online because now they want me. Hold on, they basically wants to go down to the whole thing with but Josh Allen's arm is more. So look, okay, who did you want? Now they ask us our opinion, but then they say, well, what about Derrick Henry? Now I love me some Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry once again showed you that the running game ain't dead. He's rushed for over 1,500 yards again, and he's the only running back in NFL history to rush for 200 yards. In 4 NFL games. I'm just putting it out there.
That's fine, but my whole thing is...
And don't say I don't hear nothing about
Ryan Tannehill is the reason why the Titans offense goes. What happened the week before? No, what happened the week before when they lost? They tried to feed Derrick Henry. They get in a 21-0 hole. He fumbles the ball, and then Ryan Tannehill has to come back, and they almost came back and won.
Okay, well, almost on the Captain Horseshoe, but
that's my point.
But you're not giving no credit to Derrick Henry.
No,
200 yards.
I'll give him credit yesterday.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just saying, you can't count on Derrick. You know why?
I'm consistent in my praise for Derrick Henry.
My point is this. We'll go out of our way to praise Derrick Henry when he has a game like this. I don't hear anybody talking about Ryan Tannehill when he goes for 280 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Why not? Hold on. Did you say 280 yards and 2 touchdowns?
3 touchdowns. By the way, 280 yards, is that not more than Derrick Henry's 200 yards on the ground? A yard is a yard, my man. Doesn't matter how you get it. Does not matter if you get it through the air. Doesn't matter if you get it on the ground.
Okay.
1 yard is 1 yard.
I'm not going to.
No, disagree with that. How are you going to disagree with a yard is a yard, whether it's through the air, whether it's through the ground? A yard is a yard.
Dude, that's like Patrick Mahomes throwing a 75-yard touchdown. Okay.
My point is, just because you get 10 yards in the ground does not make it more impactful than 10 yards to the air. You don't get more points for scoring a rushing touchdown than getting a passing touchdown. 6 points is 6 points. Until people understand that you don't get more points for running the ball, people are so, I think, invested in fantasy football where it's 6 points for a rushing touchdown and 4 for a passing. They don't understand this, but you get the same points for a passing touchdown as a rushing touchdown. Why not use the more effective method?
Which is what?
Passing the ball.
Anyway, this is what I put up with every day, people, and I love this guy for it.
Stats to back it up.
Yes, you and your analytics. The biggest thing away from Sunday's games to you?
Maybe Drew Lock, best game of his young career. 4 touchdowns.
Jalen Hurts. But no.
Jalen Hurts, too.
And Drew Lock, oh, God, I might have to hear from Steve tonight about that. Drew Lock and his 4 touchdowns. He had a good game. It was against the Carolina Panthers. Let's keep that in perspective. But 4 touchdowns is 4 touchdowns, according to Sterling Holmes.
No, I mean, it is, though. But
he had a good game. I'm not going to take nothing away from him.
And there was QB controversy in Denver. Not controversy in that aspect, but is he the long-term guy? He needs to have a season to give A, Denver hope, and B, to make sure that he's entrenched as the guy at least for next season.
This is only the second year, right?
But
no, I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the whole thing is a lot of people want him either gone, they don't trust him, and they don't know if he's a long-term guy. So he needs to have a good end of the year to keep that starting job, at least his. So this was a good start for him. But you hit on the Jalen Hurts. That was impressive win right there.
Yeah, no, I got a chance to watch that game, and I had the Saints winning. I thought that with the number 1 ranked defense and of course the whole, Philly's always just injured. They just injured coming in and out of the game. But I had no idea that they were going to put that type of performance together yesterday. And shout out to them, because by doing that, you pretty much threw the whole NFC up for grabs once again, because there was a time, I think a few weeks ago, where the Packers were the number 1 team and then they lost. And then during that time, up until yesterday, the Saints had won 9 games in a row. And now because of that, because they lost yesterday and the head-to-head loss that they suffered against the Packers are now the number 1 team. And so they have – I wanted to kind of touch on this, and I'm kind of glad we did. I know you and Steve both have the Saints in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. I have Tampa Bay, and they won yesterday. I didn't even watch the game, so they won. Yeah. But it could come down to a rematch of Super Bowl 1. I mean, Aaron home, State Farm Super Bowl.
State Farm would love it.
I would. Gosh, we would have so many commercials. This is not going to be funny. But what are your thoughts on that potential matchup? I mean, because when I look at it, I trust the Chiefs more than I do the Packers going down the stretch. But this could potentially be a Super Bowl matchup that we have to really take seriously now.
Before I get this, with the Saints, we saw Taysom Hill. What did I say? For about 2 or 3 games, he's going to be very effective, and then teams are going to figure him out. Well, the Eagles figured out what he's going to do, and they lose. And Drew Brees needs to come back for them to have a great shot in the playoffs. I think Taysom Hill, you could win a couple games, a game against some bad teams, but you trust Drew Brees more than Taysom Hill. Now, moving on to the Packers, I think it'd be a good matchup. I think it'd be seeing Aaron Rodgers against Mahomes, seeing those two guys. But I don't know if I can live with the State Farm commercials. I think for that, I'm rooting for any other team in the NFC.
You know what? A part of me would love to see the matchup because, Aaron Rodgers in the press, in the media. I want to see him throughout the week, how he handles it. One, he hasn't been there in about 10 years, so that's one thing for him to be in the Super Bowl. And then 2, let's
do you think they're the best team in the NFC? Do you think the Packers are the best team in the NFC?
If I look at it from 30,000 feet, just as an overview, as much as look, I'm someone who will go to the grave with my picks until I can't do it any longer. But yeah. Because see, here's the thing: we saw what Philadelphia did to the Saints yesterday. Now the Chiefs have much more talent than what they have in Philadelphia right now. Now you can easily say, man, just mirror what they did, and you should be able to do the same. Now, I think, in essence, that they should do that. But see what happens when you put pressure on that type of quarterback. Question is, will they do it? Will they put a few wrinkles in? I don't think that Drew Brees comes back because I think they want him as healthy as possible going to the Super Bowl. I mean, look, you're 4-1, so you don't have. I mean, he's not Teddy Bridgewater; he didn't go undefeated, but he's 4-1, so you don't have really any concern, or you don't have to overreact right away. Now, perhaps you start Jameis if you're questioning things. Maybe you start Jameis because Jameis with the big arm, strong arm, will be able to stretch the field for the Saints against the Chiefs and the defensive back. Now, I would like to see it because Jameis might throw some touchdowns our way. You never know. But in actuality, I don't see it. I do believe that the Packers, I think they have the best quarterback in the NFC with Aaron Rodgers. And again, to me, that is half the battle because when you got that dog, when you got the biggest bully that's not afraid to punch somebody in the mouth, that's what we have in Patrick. That's why the defense Patrick can throw 3 interceptions and still come back and put up 393 yards against you because he's just that good. I think Aaron Rodgers is just that good. He has he has probably one of the top 2 receivers along with Tyreek and Devontae. I'm sold on Devontae Adams. So to me, I would love to see this matchup because I like to see, because one, that they're going to throw the ball. They're going to stretch the field. So it's like, what they're going to do, and you're going to get your money's worth. Now, if you're better, like myself, or just a fan of the game, this is a matchup that you really do want to see in the Super Bowl because you know what you're going to get. Besides the commercials.
The thing for me that worries me about, at least if the Saints make it, Alvin Kamara, and in a way that I think you may disagree or you may not think right away, and it's him in the passing game. The Chiefs struggle to contain great pass-catching running backs. Austin Eckler is the first one that comes to mind since we see him twice a year. Austin Eckler had like 13 catches against the Chiefs last
No,
year.
I agree. No, I don't agree. I mean, and we're going to face them January 3rd.
And that's why I actually want to see. But to me, as a Chiefs fan, I would want to see Drew Brees just to see what you're working with as a team that's full strength. This is a potential Super Bowl matchup. You almost want to see Drew Brees so you know what to expect from them. If you see Taysom Hill, you got to plan once for this game, and then if you see him later in the playoffs in the Super Bowl, you got to plan for Drew Brees. It's a whole new matchup. And guess what? They already saw you once full strength.
To me, to play Drew Brees, I think you just got to put pressure on him because I think in his situation, because he's injured, you know, he might be hot potato. You just breathe on him and he might hurry up and throw the ball. Versus look, to me, I want to see the best against the best. Now, if it's New Orleans, so be it. I'm good with that. But again, I want to see everybody at their healthiest because I don't want no excuses at the end of the day.
No, and I think it's fun though because I mean, if you're a Chiefs fan, you don't want to play. You know,
and I also like to see Tampa Bay because I want my picks to be right.
Fair. I mean, but
that's fair.
But I always think that's fun too. It sucks when you play against teams and there's injuries. NBA is the first one that comes to mind when when Steph was hurt.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, because it's true, you don't get the full experience of what it would be. You almost feel slighted in a way of seeing the best against the best.
Yeah, and so I mean, but just looking at that, I mean, I think those are the really, and you know.
Seahawks, who knows?
Yeah, Seahawks. Well,
40 spot.
Here's
Jets,
the thing.
but a 40 spot.
Well, it's Jets, but the way Jamal Adams has lit fire and brought life to that defense. This is not the same defense that was the worst defense in the NFL. Of course, that's the Cowboys now. But if Jamal Adams, who made the NFL record yesterday for season. For defensive backs making the quarterback say, if he continues to bring that type of killer instinct with that defense along with Bobby Wagner, that would be a good game as well. But you know what? A part of me wants to see the Rams just because I want to. It's for real, just because I want to have the Super Bowl matchup that we didn't get 2 years ago.
The thing is this
even though they're not the same Rams.
No, but they're getting more back towards that Super Bowl Rams team because. Even though they only put up 24 against the Patriots, they get Andy Reid. They go, you know what? We're going to run 3 times and punt because you know why? We know the Pats can't score, so let's just get this game over with and come out healthy. And the Rams are looking like a team that's starting to click on all cylinders. You know, we talk about Aaron Donald all the time, but, you know, they got Brockers. They have a lot of guys on that defense. And now that Jared Goff looks like he is just doing whatever Sean McVay says, I mean,
it kind of helps.
You're focusing on Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and saying, I'm going to throw the ball 6 yards. You guys going to make plays for me?
Well,
it's working.
And look, think of the matchups again. You're going to have to dedicate someone to Aaron Donald. I'm sorry, someone's to Aaron Donald. And to see the matchup of Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill, come on, man.
We're getting it. See, you're swaying me to now where the Rams may be the most fun, at least lead up to the game. Hype. You can talk so much.
I think as we get to the playoffs, I think the NFC side is going to be more fun to watch because there's so much chess maneuvering that has because it's all going to be about matchups.
Yeah.
And who does, and then of course, if you make the simplest, the slightest mistake, the other team can make you pay for it. In the AFC, it's like, you can kind of see where. Okay, if Derek, you can't stop the run.
Yeah.
It's one thing. Oh, is Phillip Rivers going to revert back to the Chargers days? Will the moment be too big for Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns? Buffalo, of course, Josh Allen, looking for redemption for his play last year against the Houston Texans. And then the Steelers, it's the Steelers. And so then the Chiefs is just like, just don't blow it.
Yeah.
Damn it, just don't blow it.
I mean, Josh
You
Allen,
got one job to do, and that's just win.
Yeah, Josh Allen looked like he dropped shrooms last year in the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden, for him, it's redemption. But again, I think you're right. In the AFC, the Chiefs are far and away the best team. I mean, I get it. We're close. We're probably almost too close to the team in this aspect where we live in the city. We breathe Kansas City Chiefs. But
that's why I try to bring a little realism to it and to try to.
But, I mean, that's what I've been talking about the Bills all year.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the Chiefs are far and away the number one team. In the NFC, like we just had this conversation, you can see so many possibilities of NFC teams.
The two teams we didn't talk about, Washington and Arizona, for obvious reasons. We don't expect them to get that far. Let's go to break and then come back. Let's take a look at tonight's game, Baltimore, Cleveland, as well as Kenny NBA. Keep it locked in to Darren Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City.
Hey, Kansas City, winter is here, and without proper attic insulation, you'll be losing money every time your furnace turns on. Star Company's installation is here to help you save money. Adding insulation to your attic will make your home comfortable, allow your furnace to run less, and save you money every minute of the day. And Star Companies gives you a 10-year warranty that others won't. Call Star Companies today for a free quote and ask about all the ways they can help you save money this winter. 816-353-2160. Again, that number, 816-353-2160.
Are you looking for unique sporty clothing and merchandise that makes you stand out from the crowd? Do you love Kansas City sports teams? The Cherry Company designs and creates fashion-forward gear for athletes, avid sports fans, and everything in between. Check out our famous Casey Mahomes denim jacket at cherrysportsgear.com or find it in stores in the Made in KC, Lee Summit, or Plaza location. Sport style, sport local, sport Cherry. Want a 20% off discount? Mention 810 Sports in store or use code 810 online. Stay on top and visit cherrysportsgear.com today.
Do you want to live in an exciting, walkable location in City Center, Lenexa? The Lofts at 8735 offer 65 boutique apartments, heated parking garage, ultra-high-end finishes, and great amenities such as a pool, hot tub, fitness center, pet spa, bike repair station, fire pits, barbecue grills, putting green, dog run, and much more. At the Lofts, walking to great restaurants and all that City Center has to offer is easy. Go to theloftscc.com.
In these trying times, Kansas City Credit Union knows how important cash flow is in your household. With rates near all-time lows, now's the time to take action. Free up some cash by lowering your monthly car loan payment when you refinance your auto loan with Kansas City Credit Union. And as a bonus, Kansas City Credit Union will delay your payments for 90 days. Visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports for more information. Kansas City Credit Union, your path to financial freedom.
Have you been considering a career change or the next step in your career? Then you're ready to pivot. MNU School of Professional and Graduate Studies dedicated faculty will help you pivot into your next phase with affordable online and in-person classes. Set your course. MNU will guide you. Spring classes begin soon, so apply now and learn about our 20% tuition discount. Pivot into new opportunities and pivot with purpose. Visit mnu.edu/pivot.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All they're aged 21 days, hand-cut daily and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
Welcome back to Darren Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City, 94.5 FM, 1510 AM. Sterling, before we get back to the NFL, someone had asked a question on our social media pages. Do the Chiefs have to win for the rest of the season in order to maintain first seed and get the bye, or is there some wiggle room? Technically, there is wiggle room. They can lose a game to either the Saints or the Falcons, but you don't want to do it. To me, just win straight out. Otherwise, if they were to lose against the Chargers and win the other two games, they would drop down to number 2. So you don't basically just win.
Basically, you got to win the Chargers and win one more.
Yeah, but just win, baby. That's all we care about. Just seriously, just win. That way, we don't even have this discussion. That's what I was telling people on Twitter. If you win, I mean, this is a moot point anyway. Tonight, of course, is the Monday night matchup. We got the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Cleveland, take on the Browns, 7:15. You can listen to the game over on our sister station at Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sterling, your thoughts on this? Obviously, Cleveland, they are the number 5 seed at the moment. Your thoughts on this particular matchup tonight?
Yeah, this is a great Monday night matchup. This is outstanding. I mean, the Ravens are going in the wrong direction right now.
That's an understatement.
Put it mildly.
But they did rush for almost 300 yards last week against the Cowboys. Look. First of all, it stopped the bleeding for them because they were losing, so
it did.
Kind of got them back on the right track. So,
but honestly, Baker Mayfield's looked very good at stretches this season. He looked good this streak they've had. Pretty much since Odell Beckham Jr. went down, Cleveland Browns
exactly when it started.
Took off, which makes no sense as far as the actual play in the field. I don't know if he was focusing too much, trying to target Odell.
Yeah, he was.
And now it opens up the playbook.
Because if you notice, they haven't said much about Jarvis Landry. Yeah, I mean, even though they've been winning and like in the 4 touchdowns, I mean, they haven't, even with Odell being missed, it hasn't been like the Jarvis Landry show, so to speak. And because of that, obviously, the focus has been more on the run game, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So look, for some teams, I know we go back and forth as it relates to the run game, but for some teams, that is their identity. Tennessee Titans, their identity is Derrick Henry. Like it or love it, that's the identity. Ryan Tannehill, he's the money man because he's a quarterback, but they go as far as his legs will take him. In Cleveland, that's also the same scenario as well, because you look at Baker Mayfield, there's really, to me, in my opinion alone, there's nothing about him that says franchise quarterback. But he's done enough to be manageable because his coach, Stefanski's like, okay, he may not be Patrick Mahomes, he may not be Deshaun, may not even be Kyler Murray, but he's surrounded by great talent. Put him in a position to focus more so on the strength than his weaknesses. Allow the run game to, offset the pass. Run, hit them with a pass when need be, or hit them with a pass when they least expect it. You make the pass. You don't give the ball away, and you're good. And I think that's what he's done in this stretch, where if you look at it, and I'm not sure what the numbers are, his turnover ratio is not as much as it was last year or prior to Odell going down.
To me, he's such a confidence guy. You know how you can say what you will about, how much does it matter having the chemistry, having streaks go, I think in baseball always talks about all about this stuff. But to me, he is a confidence guy. When he's playing with this confidence and playing loose, he looks really good.
Yeah.
When he's getting questioned by the media, when he has an interception, he looks down on the sideline, you can tell, oh, this is going to be a bad game, and he's not coming back from this.
But the reason why he hasn't, because he ended up trying to force something that wasn't there versus just letting it come. Again, Sunday's game of C, that was a hell of a win. I mean, because I think you and I, we were like, we thought when I was doing my parlay, said, okay, it's going to be a low scoring because they're going to run the ball. But hell, we wasn't expecting it to be the way it was, where they scored 76 points or whatever.
Yeah, Baker threw like 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, because we thought it was going to be under 52 for the total, and it was 76 points in that game. So I mean, so it's, look, he's played well. He's played well in this stretch. I like the fact that they know who they are. They know that they need to run the ball, and I think in this game, obviously, I think what they will do offensively is they will run the ball and they will force Lamar Jackson to become a quarterback and to make, if Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens are going to beat them, they're going to have to beat them in the air. I don't think, and the way that Myles Garrett and look, they have a pretty good defense too. So I don't want to overlook that as well. So I think this is going to be a real good game tonight, and I look forward to it.
Yeah, this is a very fun game to watch. If the Ravens want to have any chance of making the playoffs, they need to win tonight.
And these are the games that you need to win, that you have to win to show that you're serious. Who you got?
I have the Browns. Last week's win, I went out on a limb and said, you know what? The Browns are finally going to get over the hump. They did it. I think they are over the hump. I think they beat the Ravens. The Ravens are reeling right now. I think if you want to prove that you're the second best team in this division, this is the game to do it. I'm going with the Browns. The Browns defense has been outstanding. I think they can contain Lamar on the ground a little bit, force him to throw. And when you force him to throw outside the numbers, he has struggled. Give me the Browns. I
am also taking the Browns, and I'm taking the Browns just out of my love and affection for Kareem Hunt. I just think that he's found himself in a good situation, and he's not going to mess it up. And look, and to be able to come back and have a chance, how good would it be to see Kareem Hunt back in Kansas City playing for the Browns in the playoffs.
It'd be great. I mean, it'd be a great redemption story. I don't know if that you remember last year how he goes, I should still be in Kansas City. I don't want to be in Cleveland. I don't know if he's still saying that this season.
Oh, it is hard of hearts. It is hard of hearts. Yeah, he knows he should be going for 3 Super Bowl titles, but that's another story.
At least he's on a playoff team right now.
All I know is, man, every time I see him and I see him playing well, I'm just like, I just imagine back to 2018 in that game against the Rams. Like, man, I really miss that dude here in Kansas City. I just wish things would have turned out differently for him. But all in all, before we get out of here, your thoughts on Kevin Durant's making his debut with the Brooklyn Nets over the weekend?
Yeah, it's awesome. The Nets are going to be a fun team to watch. Him and Kyrie, with basically Steve Nash just sitting on the sideline, just going to say, "Hey guys, if you need anything, let me know."
Well, if you're Kyrie, that's what he's doing. Yeah.
But no, good to see Kevin Durant back. He's a top 3 player in the NBA. It's fun seeing him back, healthy, and it should be a great season to watch.
Yeah, of course. Look, we'll talk a lot more NBA next week, December 21st and 22nd, when the season starts. And but look, want to thank everyone for tuning in today. Thank you all so much for being active via the web stuff, as well as just listening to us on. Yeah,
come on, Darren.
Well, no, because it's something. We got Facebook, Twitter.
No, I love it. Just web stuff sounded like it was like an old person saying.
Yeah, okay, yeah, social media.
Thank you.
Social media. Make sure you tune in around 6:30. I'll be doing the Red Arrow with Steve Walls, DJ Q, and Sean Tyler. We'll of course put the bottle cap on Sunday's victory against the Miami Dolphins with the Kansas City Chiefs. So until tomorrow, make sure you join us right here on ESPN Kansas City, 94.5 FM, 1510 AM. For Darren and Sterling, mask up, social distance, stay safe.